Well, I think that's all I got. Yeah, that was it. Hello everyone, hello. Thanks so much for tuning into my channel. Today I am presenting from outside. Please pardon any noises that you hear because they are outside noises. But I am coming to you today to talk to you about creating purpose for yourself and just kind of remaining centered in this really difficult to remain centered time. But I think that some of these are things you can just kind of take with you wherever you're gonna go. Now, before I move any further, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, what I'm going to ask you to do is to, if you have not already done so, please be sure to like my page. Please be sure to subscribe and bell me if you like seeing my face and you don't mind seeing my face more often. If you would like to contact me, you can via my website at www.shikahenley.com. So let's go ahead and move on to what we're talking about today. Okay, so like I said, today I'm talking about how to create purpose for yourself and still remain centered, because I was actually having this conversation with someone, and most people at this point in time, most people when they talk to me, they're just like, wow, you seem really chipper today. You seem really chipper and happy. And I'm just like, I've created purpose for myself, and I don't feel as overwhelmed as lots of other people feel right now. And so I just kind of want to talk a bit about just things that I've personally done to really help me with just kind of moving through everything with this time. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to talk about is how I approach most situations that are extraordinarily stressful for me. And I know it's a time where I am extremely stressed out, but I still have to function as if I'm not extremely stressed out. And so what I have to do is just take a moment to reflect and just kind of calm down. Because realistically, we're in a situation that is completely out of our control. It's not like you are dictating things that are coming through, depending on your state, really, what the government is doing. So it's just kind of recognizing that's a thing that's completely out of my control. However, I also recognize that there are so many things that are in my control that I'm just like, okay, I still pretty much run this. But once I had that moment of like, okay, you know what, it's going to be like constant movement, constant change, and I just have to be prepared for the fact that that's going to happen. That definitely helps me to not feel as overwhelmed and as stressed and as freaked out. I'm just like, you know what, things are changing hourly, and I just have to deal with that. And another thing that I've also realized, this person is an educator. If you get the opportunity to take one of those really long breaks, so when you're off for a month or 2 months, you realize it takes you about 2 good weeks before you get into a moment where you calm down. And I think it's the same thing with what's happening now. Like after a couple of weeks in it, then you kind of really get into your true vibe of things. And so it does take some time to just kind of get to that space. But again, if you haven't already, it's just like, dude, you know what, these are things that are out of our control. The only thing that we can do is think about things that we can't control. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is actually that concept, and this, you see this on the social media all the time with the hashtags. I am not stuck at home, I am safe at home. And I kind of find them both to be a strange thing. Number one, I don't feel like I'm stuck at home, because I don't. Number two, I also don't necessarily say like I'm safe at home, because I am safe at home, but home is my sanctuary. Like when I've worked a really long day, I want to go home. I don't list off all the other places I'd rather be. I'm pretty much like, you know what? I'm really tired. I want to go home. I'm really sick. I want to go home and be in my bed. Like that's my sanctuary. And I would like to add, like I recognize that everybody's home is not the same. And I know there are some people who are in extreme circumstances and home really isn't a sanctuary. However, if you are not in that kind of extreme circumstance, I think you need to take a step back and reflect on why is home not a place that makes me feel good and makes me feel safe and happy. And if it isn't, then that might be part of the things you need to do as your next step. Like, what am I doing to make home be a sanctuary? Because legitimately, when I'm home, I feel like home is awesome. There are lots. I like being on the road. I like traveling. I like nature and being outside. But at the end of the day, even after I've traveled and I've seen all these cool things, I'm still ready to come home and get in my bed and be there. So just that idea, like it's really, it's not, me being stuck at my house isn't really like a bad thing for me. Again, everybody's situation is different, but I don't wake up and think, oh, I'm just like, oh my God, all my stuff is here and it's great. So I'm pretty content, like, oh, I get to work from my house and in the comfort of my own home. Great. So I kind of enjoy those things. So I think it's kind of reframing that thinking about home. Home should be your sanctuary, and if it's not, how can you make it a space that is your sanctuary? Okay, so number 3, a thing that I've done is I've created a project list for myself, and I know I've seen all of the things like this, you don't have to be super productive, sis, you don't have to do all this stuff, and I'm like, great, that's great, but I do think you need to have some sort of just projects to do. I think productivity looks really different. Like, you don't have to start a business if you don't want to start a business. Or maybe this was the time you did want to start a business. For me, it was cleaning the house. So I was cleaning the house. I made sure all of that was good to go. Now I'm like, I was cleaning up to sell. This is amazing. But then I also started working on different tasks, things that I've been wanting to do. But I realized because I do work full time, I'm exhausted and I can't necessarily get those things done. So one of the things I'm excited about is I've transformed my office to also a dressing room. That's something that makes me really excited. And every day I kind of do a different piece in it. On the weekends, I think I'm going to do the basement. So I've created tasks for myself and little projects to help move me through. Because that also gives me a sense of purpose, and that's really important for us. Like, I think we really don't recognize, even if you don't like going to work, how much purpose work gives you, because it gives you a reason to be up every day, a place to be every day, a thing you're responsible for doing every day. And if you don't have those things, then that's when you kind of start to feel, just like overwhelmed, because we all are just naturally creatures of habit, and we need to have those kinds of activities. So if you don't have a project list, I would definitely say you need to figure out, like, what are some things that I want to do. And again, those things do not have to be like, I'm going to finish my dissertation. I really need to finish my first 3 chapters. I'm terrible, but like, it might not be that big, but it might really be like, I've really been wanting to rearrange all of the furniture in this room, or I really want to organize the cupboards. Do something like that, but still make it worth it. Number 4, another thing that I've really been focusing in on is being mindful. And it's like a #noom kind of thing, but being mindful, and that's something I'm always trying to do, but I found that now that I'm home, I can be a lot more mindful than I was before, and there are things that I'm doing now that I never did before. So things like, I make sure when I take the dog for a walk, it is like a decompress, let me enjoy the air, I enjoy getting the sun, I enjoy the dog's reaction to things that she sees outside. I'll chat with my neighbors from 6 feet away. They're doing some sort of work, so you might hear they're like cutting some lines, some serious, essential employee work. But I also focus on like my meals a lot, which is again, that's another thing. But my meals, and that, like, I sit at the table and I have a glass of wine and I enjoy my dinner. This morning for breakfast, I cooked breakfast this morning, which is something that would never happen under normal circumstances. But I got up, I cut up potatoes, I put them in the oven, I made biscuits, I did this whole thing. But I'm making sure I'm mindful in everything that I'm doing. How I choose my clothes I'm gonna wear the next day. Thinking about I'm sorry, I'm looking at the dog, she's enjoying the grass too much. But thinking about what am I gonna wear, and then even the thing that I've started doing, which I didn't do before, because I need to make sure, like, I'm moving still. I do listen to a lot of music, but now, like, I listen to music and I'll sit, like I said, and have a glass of wine and listen to my music, or I'll do the turn up and I'll listen to music and I'll dance around the house and just enjoy myself. But I'm finding that I am very much so more living in my moment versus checking things off of my list. I'm enjoying all of my moments and all of my time, and that's something that I think we all really, as we are in this point where we are sheltering in place or we are quarantined, to really focus on those things as well. Okay, so before I get into the recap time, because I do have a recap, one of the things I do want to reiterate is, and this is something that I said in my last video, which was, activity really, that's what makes you feel okay. And again, even though we're tired, you think about like, oh, I'm so tired getting up every day, doing this, doing that. Those are the things that kind of help keep us grounded. And when you don't do those things, you kind of lose sight of things. So if you are not, and I keep saying this, man, if you're not getting up every day at the same time, if you're not getting dressed, if you're not, like, I enjoy putting on makeup, like I put on makeup every day and I sit in front of meetings on, video meetings all day, but I get up, I get dressed, I pick out my clothes the night before, I put on my makeup when I'm, on the day I'm going to work, I make sure I have my breakfast, I make sure I'm still moving through, because the fact of the matter is, if I wear sweatpants all day, and I do wear leggings every day, but I jazz them up sometimes, well, not every day, but if you wear sweats, if you're in your pajamas for everything, you're going to feel that way. You're not going to feel, ready, and that's one of the things you need to think about. Like, if you think about when you've been sick and you're just like, oh my God, I've been so sick, like, and then it finally breaks, the fever breaks, whatever happens. The first thing you want to do is you want to get up, you want to take a shower, you want to get dressed, you want to feel normal again. That's because those are the things that reinvigorate us. And so if those are not things that you're doing, you're going to find that you aren't being reinvigorated, and you have to do those things. So as I do my recap with my notebook, I'm like, oh, what's going with the notebook? I left my technologies upstairs. So recap. So the first thing is to, if you haven't, take a moment to reflect. A lot of this is out of our control, but everything isn't out of your control. Reflect on what is going on and recognizing that you kind of have to go with the flow, and just, create that control for yourself within your own space. Number 2, that concept of being stuck at home, or even like you're safe at home. Like, I'm not saying I like being at home. I like my house. It's a great place. I enjoy it here. So, and if it's a space where you can, like, you are in extreme circumstance, make it a place you like being. Like, do that. Make it someplace where you come home, you're like, whew, yes. That's probably your first task. The third thing is to create projects for yourself, whatever they are. Again, they don't have to be grand things. You don't have to start a business. It could just be you're organizing your bookshelf. I don't know, but create some tasks and just kind of slowly move through those at your own pace. And the fourth thing is to practice mindfulness and living in the moment of the activities that you're doing activities that allow you to be in a moment. Like I said, taking a walk with my dogs. I do walk my dogs several times a day. That's how I get my air and some of my exercise. That's how she gets her exercise, right? Are you listening to music? Are you listening to an album you really have to listen to? Like, right now I'm in my backyard, people are barbecuing, people are doing all kinds of things. Like, be mindful and live in the moment with those people you're quarantining with. Just live the moment and enjoy the moment. And again, to reiterate, you do need to make sure you're doing things normally. Just because you're quarantined does not mean, oh, I don't have to shower every day anymore. I don't have to, do the same things that you would normally do, because you'll realize that's going to help you kind of move through this time. And so as I transition out of here, before I do my recaps about all the things I want you to do, I hope that some people found this helpful. We are definitely all in this together. Reach out to folks for your support, but also take advantage of the time. The fact that you can really be mindful with this time. You can really just work on being happy in this space with this time. If you like this video, click like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you haven't belled me, bell me. What is that? See, motorcycles. If you want to contact me, you can via my website at www.shikahenley.com. Everybody, stay safe out there, stay home, stay healthy, and I will see you all next time.